So let's say, I mean, obviously they've got the motivation there, but what happens at the end if they need to sense danger? Surely, if a criminal's got a knife, what happens there? If someone's got a weapon, or a stick, even a big stick would be unhelpful.
Yeah, I mean, the reaction of what happens at the last moments between the dog leaving the track, because if you think about, and I guess a lot of people won't have experienced it, but if you watch animals, predatory animals, particularly dogs, and scent hunting animals in the wild, their preferred method of locating very often is by sight. So if they can see their prey, they will fix their gaze on the prey. And so things like cats and big cats, and you ever see the footage of cheetahs and whatever, they're stalking and their head will keep fixed still and they're watching their prey item. But if you look at animals like wolves and dogs, which are hunting, they will very often pick up the scent of a particular animal they're going to hunt. And it presumably is an animal with some form of weakness that the dogs can pick up on that scent. So it could be injured, it could be young, it could be old, but they can discriminate between that and the other scents around them. So that ability to fix on a scent is innate within dogs. Mm-hmm. What happens at the last stages of a hunt is very often the dog switches from scent on the ground, the track, and they see the prey. So they're close enough that they can actually see it. So they stop tracking and their eyes engage. Or they get air scent from where the animal is. So their head will come up and you'll see that the dog's starting to follow with its nose up in the air. And that message that the dog gets at that point will trigger its behaviours. I'm certainly know from my own experience that if the dog is tracking a person who is deliberately trying to evade the police, I'm guessing the smell of adrenaline and various other bodily fluids causes that dog to become very energized as to what it's going to do. And experienced dogs, and you can see it with experienced dogs, will switch. And the track stops, the head's up, and they are now proper hunting. They're closing in on their prey.
I'm getting goosebumps or anything. If I imagine if you're that boy standing in the tree waiting for this dog's just switched on.
That's
going to be painful.
And as a handler, you have the only thing that you've got very often, because you can't sometimes even see your dog in the dark, you can feel that tension on the line. And anybody who fishes or whatever, when that tension, you can feel it, and the energy that comes back to you. And you've got to make a split-second decision. You really have, because you could be very close. And do you let the dog continue? Do you hold the dog off? Do you let the person give themselves up? Do you let the dog detain the person? And I can't answer that question. It happens in the split second of a moment. I mean, and I guess with the benefit of hindsight, there's been plenty of people that have been bitten by police dogs who would have probably chosen not to be bitten if they knew what was coming. But they chose to try and hide a little bit too long or not give up.
But what does happen if they have a weapon? If they have a knife, surely the dog then is in danger.
The dog's in danger, but that's when you need a dog which is energized to take on. And
an aggressor.
And behave in a very aggressive way. And I've had dogs. I never had a dog stabbed. I had dogs beaten and kicked and struck with pieces of wood, a hammer, and the dogs get injured.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's a line of duty, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's and ultimately, when I was working with firearms as a firearms support dog, you would put your dog in a situation where it was a choice between the dog getting shot, if it found somebody who was an active shooter who was going to kill whoever came in, or a person. Yeah, sure. And ultimately, the dog is it's the dog that will have to take it for the team. And they were pretty special dogs, and the military use them now a lot, particularly in urban warfare encounters to neutralise unknown threats, particularly in this day and age with the likes of explosive IEDs on people, human-born IEDs, the dog would have to take it. And there's plenty of evidence of dogs saving military personnel's lives by taking one for the team.